It's April 26, 1986 near Pripyat, and the number for reactor is having an issue. Then the unimaginable happens. A nuclear reactor explodes. Radiation floods the air, and nobody warns the people in the nearby city. The core begins to melt. 3 men are asked to dive into the radioactive underbelly of the plant, knowing they may not survive. And they said yes. Welcome to Insanely True, Episode 29, The Chernobyl Divers, the true story of the volunteers who descended into radioactive water to stop a second nuclear explosion and possibly saved all of Europe. On April 26, 1986, reactor for the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded during a late night safety test. The result was the worst nuclear disaster in history. Fire, graphite, and radioactive steam spewed into the air, drained the pool. Tons of nuclear fuel began to melt through the reactor floor. But the real danger was still to come. Beneath the reactor was a massive pool of water, part of the emergency coolant system. If the molten radioactive core reached it, it would trigger a steam explosion large enough to destroy the remaining reactors, release an unimaginable amount of radiation, and make most of Eastern Europe uninhabitable. Soviet engineers realized they had hours to act. The only solution: drain the pool. But the valves controlling the water lay deep in the flooded basement, pitch black, maze-like, and filled with highly radioactive water. Going down there was a death sentence, and 3 men volunteered. Alexei Ananenko, an engineer who knew the layout; Valery Bezbalov, Alexei's fellow engineer; and Boris Baranov, a shift supervisor. All 3 suited up in rubber waders, carried flashlights, and stepped into the dark. Their Geiger counters clicked violently. The water glowed faintly. One wrong step and they could become trapped, or drown, or worse, expose themselves to a lethal dose of radiation. After wading through chest-deep water and navigating blind through flooded tunnels, when they reached the valve room, they found that the valves were stuck due to corrosion and debris. Despite the dangerous conditions, including high radiation levels, the 3 men managed to open the valves manually, allowing the water to drain. And because of their bravery, a second explosion never happened. And within hours, Chernobyl's death toll stopped rising. Western media initially reported that all 3 men died shortly after the mission, but that wasn't true. 2 of the 3 survived for decades. Only Baranov died of heart failure in 2005. Ananenko and Bezbalov were alive as recently as 2019 and were awarded the title Hero of Ukraine for their actions. Their mission wasn't suicide. It was sacrifice, calculated, deliberate, and terrifyingly brave. If they had failed, the death toll would have been in the millions. For more information, including declassified Soviet memos, survivor interviews, and reactor schematics, check the links in the description. And don't forget to follow our Instagram page, Insanely True Stories, where we post daily facts, strange history, and stories that haven't made it into full videos yet. Like, share, and subscribe for more insanely true stories, where real heroism hides in the darkest corners of history.